So it's great. It's really, really good. And that's important to understand. So strength and conditioning. Now, I touched on this a little bit earlier on, with people being desk-bound at desks and creating function. The strength phase of our training programs, we need now off the bike strength training for stabilization of form. And we also need to develop strength training on the bike as well. And I don't know many programs that really go into the sort of detail that we do in our programs around strength training, but it's really important. Now, there's a big distinction that needs to be made between explosive strength training and sustained power strength training. And I don't want to be disrespectful for personal trainers, but there are some personal trainers out there that you may have encountered or that you know of that just seem to be hell-bent on, when you go and see them to do a workout, they just seem to be hell-bent on making sure that when you come out of that training session, you're not able to walk. You have to crawl out of the session. You're wrecked. Now, the problem with that is that what's going to happen the next day, you're not going to be able to back up your training or do training properly because your legs are wrecked or your arms are wrecked, or you just, you get out of bed and you feel like a piece of cardboard. It's like you're just wrecked. Now, don't get me wrong, explosive strength training's great. And if you're a sprinter, incredibly important. So 50% of the training that, people like Shane Perkins, Anna Mears does is actually done in the gym. They're sprinters and their events don't last very long. So if your thing's doing long endurance-based events, then you need to have a strength program that matches that. And like I said, I spent quite a bit of time with Matt Brindle in 2006 developing a strength and conditioning program. We just released a new version of it, version 2, late last year. Did a big update to it. Your off-the-bike strength and conditioning program needs to be relevant. And the other thing about personal trainers is that not a lot of them really understand the physiological demands of cyclists and the functional strength that they need to develop and those sort of things. So if you want to do strength training at the gym, and you're going to be spending an hour at the gym, it's got to mean something. It's like no sense in just going along there and doing an hour's worth of training, thinking that it's going to help you if it's not. You're really wasting your time. And I'm talking about efficiency of training here. If you go to the gym and spend an hour there and thinking that it'll help you training, but it's not helping you training, then you're really wasting that hour. You could be spending that hour with family or friends, or you could be spending it doing something that's actually going to help you with training. So it's important to make sure that training that you're doing at the gym is actually going to help you on the bike, right? The training that we work with is required to develop sustained and explosive power. So functional strength training is usually missing from most programs. And the great thing about strength training is that it's developed slowly, and again, it's lost slowly. So it's something that you can develop. It's like a flywheel. It's like aerobic-based training as well. Once you put energy into a flywheel, the momentum's stuck there and the flywheel just keeps on going. And you only have to put a little bit of energy into it to keep it going. And strength training and aerobic-based training are both that type of training. All right, so important. All right, so speed. This is where things start getting fast. There is a time and a place for speed work. And I'm a big fan of high-intensity training, but it needs to be done at the right time.